Welcome, Adventure. I'm GM Goblin, your GM Goblin. And we've had a little bit of changes. A little bit of set change, got some stuff moved around. If you've noticed that my name has changed from Goblin, which is one of the names I've gone by with some gaming tables, to just standard Goblin, mostly for being able to find it easier. But I'm going to be starting a new series. And I know a lot of people want tier lists that you can find for Pathfinder and everything, and I made kind of a mock tier list, which covered your spellcasters being your full wizard and everything, when you've got your full spellcaster being top tier, and I talked about it. But I'm going to do something that is going to be going over a build or an archetype of a specific class. And speaking of top tier, possibly one of the best ones that you're going to find, and a good place to start, is what I'm going to start with today. So, if you have ever wanted to play a wizard in Pathfinder 1E, then I got a wizard for you. Anyone who's been around the table and knows a wizard is always, almost always, considered top tier, S tier all the time, because it has the ability to prepare for everything. You are the Batman of the universe. Well, we're going to get you even more like Batman before this is done. Wizard is great. You have to prepare your spell slots. And while a lot of people, even myself, a lot of times, prefer sorcerers being able to cast the same spell, you just prepare for all contingencies. This class is going to help you out to be just as flexible as a sorcerer, and even more so. So with this wizard, we're going to be doing two archetypes. We're going to be doing Exploiter, and we're going to be doing Pact Wizard. So, Exploiter Wizard is going to get rid of our Arcane Bond. Don't worry, we're going to be able to get that back. And this gives us an Arcane Reservoir. This is great if you've ever played an Arcanist, if you've ever played Magus. This is going to allow us to do a lot of little things. In a magic pool, we get 3 plus our Arcanist level, which in this case is your wizard level. When preparing spells with raw magic energy, gaining a number of points equal to 3 and 1/2 your Arcanist level. Any points she had from the previous day are lost. That's pretty common. Okay, that's fine. Points from the Arcanist reservoir are used to fuel your powers like normal. And for 1 point from your Arcane reservoir, free action, you can increase your caster level by 1, or you increase the spell DC by 1. Oops. You can expand no more than 1 point from your reservoir at any given spell in this way. It is a great way to constantly increase your spell. And remember, so I just got through my last big campaign that I ran with an Exploiter Pact Wizard, and she was fantastic. But she always forgot whenever she activated this ability. And I don't know how, even going up to level 20, she still had to be reminded what caster level affects for your spell, and then, of course, the DC. So remember, caster level, bigger fireball, DC, harder for them to make that safe. All right. So your Exploiter gets your reservoir, and then at first and every 4th level thereafter, you're going to gain an Arcanist exploit. This is replacing your Arcane School ability from your wizard. But this is fantastic. So you get rid of your Arcane Bond here. You have a ton of exploits. One of them being, go figure, Familiar. Oh no. So you can get this, level 7, you're going to end up being able to take a feat, and you don't miss anything. But there's a bunch on this list. One of them I do recommend. You spend one of your points, and then your this ability is used as part of a move action or withdraw action. It allows you to move 10 feet per level to any location you can see. To any location you can see. This allows you to get through obstacles, bars, through keyholes. You're moving as long as there's nothing blocking you or blocking your sight, you're good. And this only counts as 5 feet of your movement. This is something that my wizard picked up early on. She picked it up early on, and it saved her in spades all the way up to level 20. It's fantastic. But there is a ton of useful exploits that you can get, and all sorts of shenanigans. You can suppress spell effects, give you temporary resistance, all sorts of stuff. But It is definitely an ability that makes the Arcanist or the Exploiter Wizard just a top tier archetype. Next archetype we're going to be taking is Act Wizard. Act Wizard. First, we're changing our spellcasting. So it uses a spellbook. It is going to be giving you a patron. So instead of using a familiar like a witch, if you've ever looked at one, your spellbook's is your familiar basically for this. That doesn't mean you can't not have a familiar. It's just going to be the way this is treated. So you prepare all of your spells in only 15 minutes, and there's a minimum preparation time of 1 minute, which means just save some spells. Anyway, so at first level, you must select a patron. So once again, we're going kind of the witch route with this. And this functions like the witch class ability of the same name, of course, except the Pack Wizard automatically adds her patron spells to his spell book because you're a prepared caster, not spontaneous, instead of the familiar. So, like I said, same thing as a familiar, or same thing as a familiar with your spell book. If you've ever played a witch, there you go. In addition, the Pack Wizard can extend any prepared spells that isn't a spell prepared using an additional spell slot the wizard receives from his arcane school in order to spontaneously cast one of the patron spells of the same level or lower. Together. Great power, greater expense. As Pact Wizard grows in power, his choice of patron begins to affect his physical body. Level 5, you get 1 Oracle Curse. Okay, so we're adding a bunch of class features with this. So we've already gone with Witch Patrons over here. Time's really good. Anything that gives you free and quick access to any spells that you might be missing, or maybe remember if one of them or two of them you can get earlier this way, but it really just depends. It's a little bit of flavor for you. You'll get some extra spells. Let's see here. We've used time before. I think we used some others. Oracle. So Oracle Curses, if you have never looked at them before, they're going to give you a little bit of a hindrance that is easily going to be moved around. So you're going to be taking a curse from the Oracle class. So at your first level, -2 saving throws, mind effects, and abilities, first level. And that is going to be what that Oracle ability is. Now this is half your level. And as you've just seen, as you level up, you're going to be able to get some increases. So it turns it from just being a penalty to a boon. You're not going to get ever level 15, but being that we went to level 20, my wizard did end up getting their level 10 because as a pact wizard, you treat it as half your character level for the effective oracle level when it comes to your curse. If a curse would add spells to the obstacle or to the oracle spell list, you know, these or to its list of spells known, this pact wizard instead adds those spells to the wizard's spell list as well as to his spell book. So you're going to be able to add some extra little spells out of a memory you've already got. There's some other ones in here that might be more interesting for you if you can deal with the flight penalty that you're going to be getting. And then at 10th level, you can invoke your patron's power, roll twice, and take the better result when attempting a caster level check, concentration check, initiative check, there you go, or saving throw. He can activate this ability as a free action before attempting the check, even if it isn't his turn. He can use it a number of times, 3 + 1/2 his intelligence modifier. And then at 15th, when you invoke the patron's power to roll twice on a check, you add your intelligence bonus. This is one of the things that my wizard would do anytime she thought it was pertinent that she had to get involved or she wanted to use a time stop. When he applies meta magic feats to any of his spells he learned via his patron of curse or curse, he treats the spell's final effective level as 1 lower to a minimum level equal to the spell's original level. And then at 20th level, you get to invoke the patron's power to roll twice on these checks, result in a natural 20. He automatically succeeds, regardless of whether or not a check of that type would normally allow an automatic success. And then, of course, it replaces some extra little feats that you get in there, so you're kind of taking all of your bonuses from your base wizard class. But there's a lot you can mix in. You're getting access to a lot of free spells, especially if you've got a GM that is stingy with his spells. Maybe he doesn't want you to get them too quickly. Well, you're going to be getting around that because you're getting them from your witch's patron, you're getting them from your oracle. So you're going to be getting access that way. One of the things that I believe Wizard did in our game to also play with her Arcanist ability for increasing those DCs was create what's called a toppling wizard. I'm going to use toppling. Here we go, toppling spell. Uh, impact of your force spell is strong enough to knock the target prone. So you're going to be using magic missile, which means there's automatically going to get hit. And if the target takes damage, fails its saving throw, or is moved by the force spell, make a trip check. And you're using your caster level, so that's something you can increase, plus your ability score, so intelligence, of course. And not going to need anything with provoke attack of opportunity anyway, because you're not going to be anywhere near close to these guys. And if the check fails, the target cannot attempt to trip you or the force effect in response. So toppling spell increases 1. You can go ahead and take magic lineage, and you will be able to fix it so that you will not actually have an advance in the level of the spell for your magic missiles. She used this for earlier levels, all the way up till 5 or so. But it was an interesting way for her to take a lot of trash mobs and to just knock them prone. Wizards help our melee combatants get an extra +4 because they're on the ground. One of the things that this is going to be taking off of you is going to be your ability to scribe scroll when it comes to Pact Wizard. So I do recommend, like I do with all wizards really, and a lot of casters, I usually get a ton of magical items, but especially for wizards, I like to take scribe scroll because if you make the wrong choice and you fill up all your slots, then that's it. It's kind of just a wasted slot. Another ability that she used, it's a level 10, and this is an arcane discovery, but this is going to allow you to stop time. And so it's like a mini time stop. It's kind of interesting. It's great to be able to do this either as a getaway or to be able to do something if she needs to get by some mobs real quick. It just allows her the ability to get around, to do things, to summon something if she needs to. And remember, also, when you've got this exploit and you've got the ability for that dimensional slide, I mean, she's making real movement even without the use of a teleportation spell. So it's pretty good. Another thing that I absolutely loved was giving her this extra ability. Now, it's something she's not going to be able to take to level 11, and you have to have craft staff to be able to use this. So there's you another crafting ability or feat besides scribe scroll. You can do it. You'll be okay. She was fine. But staff like wand is fantastic. So you use your own intelligence score and relevant feats to set the DC for saves against spells you cast from a wand. And you can use your caster level when activating the power of the wand if it's higher than the caster level of the wand. So it's a fantastic way to increase the life of wands so that they are going to serve you more often and farther on in your levels. And so it's not going to be so super expensive. So you can get a bunch of wands and craft them yourself if you want to. And you'll be able to make a lot more use out of your ability than just standing back or wasting your most powerful spells. But looking at something like Quick Study from your Arcanist exploits, which allow you to expend a point, and as a full round action, you're able to reference your spell book and basically get any spell you want. This, along with the ability to increase your DC on your spells, is one of the reasons why I really think this is possibly one of your best builds, being the Pact Wizard and the Exploiter Wizard together. I mean, it's just so powerful, and you can do a lot of different things with it, but it is a great way to play your wizard. And it just levels out. It's a great way to constantly have any spell you want. You get free spells if you're in a real stingy game, and you don't really lose out on a whole bunch. I mean, you got to deal with a little bit of a curse, but other than that, I think it's great, and it is my top pick, at least for right now, unless somebody can prove me wrong. You're welcome to try for a wizard build. So play one next time if you like playing casters, that is, and just make your GM miserable. By the way, enjoy your game this weekend, guys, and